Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha Pujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam adha raviravadannirīkṣya rāmaṃ muditamanāḥ paramam prahṛṣyamāṇaḥ niśicharapati saṅkṣayaṃ viditvā suragaṇa madhyagatō vachastvarēti. So the entire text is that of upasana. Upasana is essentially the feeling, whereas jnanam is the understanding. The understanding in the heart, not in the head. Feeling is, of course, in the heart. What you feel is upasana. What you understand is jnanam. What you think or know is intellect. And what you think is emotion, what you know is intellect. These are all within you. So you avoid too much of rationalization when it comes to upasana. Just cultivate that sense of love, feel the love. You look at the sun, you are looking at Bhagavan. And the same Bhagavan is in your heart also as the innermost self. That will come later. If that Bhagavan and this Bhagavan is one and the same, that is jnanam. But till jnanam, it is upasana. So you develop that feeling of love, and so that is what Rama is doing. So he looked at Rama. He looked at the sun and chanted the way we have seen the Aditya Hṛdayam. Then when you look at the sun looks at you. You speak to the sun speaks to you. Means you get the inspiration. So sun looked at Rama, as Rama looks at sun. At the end of the chapter, the style of Vālmikīyē is to change the meter. Till the last verse, the meter is Anushtup, small meter, simple meter, very popular meter. But at the end, the meter changes. You have that verse. The moment the meter changes, that means the canto has come to an end. That is the style of Valmiki, and the same style is followed by other great poets also who came later than Valmiki. So you see, you speak to God, then God speaks to you. You feel the God, then God reciprocates. Okay? So you become silent, God will speak from within. If you are speaking, God won't speak. He will keep silent. That's why in Gita, iti uktva arjunaha tushnim babhuvaha. Arjuna became quiet. Shri Bhagavan vacha. When Arjuna becomes quiet, Arjuna is you and me. When we become quiet, Bhagavan will speak from within. This is sometimes called as the inner voice, the guidance of the inner conscience, the conscience, like that the people call it. Okay? Therefore, you get guided, and you guide yourself, you get the guidance. So the sun looked at Rama, and Rama was very much happy, and therefore Bhagavan is very much happy too. A Mahatma is asked, "Dear sir, when we worship God, how to know that God is pleased or not?" Propitiate, God must be pleased. That's why we do the worship, mental worship only we are talking about. So this is what is called Parameshwara Prityartham, Priti. So the Mahatma asked, are you satisfied with your prayer? If you are satisfied with your relating to God, then God is equally satisfied with you. But if you feel a bit lacking, you feel, no, I'm not satisfied with my worship with my devotion, then God is also not satisfied. It works like that. Therefore, there is no difference between self and the God. You look at the God, God looks at you. You speak with the God, God speaks to you. All these in your heart. Are you not doing the same thing with the world? That is what you are doing. You see, you look at a pet and assume that the pet is responding to you. Are you not? Are you not? You look at a child, a 6 months old child, and address the child, and you get amused that the child has responded to you. So when you can project that way with reference to an animal or a child, etc., why don't you think that you can have a similar feeling with reference to God also? Because what happened is we have made God into an idol and kind of lifeless and voiceless, and kept in Vaikuntha or in puja room. Therefore, we have removed God from our consciousness. Therefore, God doesn't speak to us, God doesn't respond to us, only we will be praying all the time. This is our problem. We have to address this problem. And the way of addressing is love. Love God and God loves you back. And so if you are satisfied with your prayer, suppose you do Surya Namaskar. Are you satisfied with your way of doing Surya Namaskar? If you are satisfied, God is also satisfied. If you feel you have not done it well, your mind is elsewhere and you have not done it well, then God also is not entirely satisfied. So it works like that. So the Aditya, the God, the creator, was very happy with Rama because Rama has prayed with total love. And then, so Rama got the message, don't delay any further, go ahead and gain victory. So, you see, when you worship the light, dispelling of darkness is not very far. Niśicharapati saṅkṣayaṃ viditvā. When you worship jnanam, ajnana will go away. People don't worship jnanam, they worship the world and keep the ajnana intact. They worship wealth, they worship pleasures, they worship names and forms, they worship the untruth, they worship the world. That is how people are. And therefore the ajnana remains. The day you worship knowledge, the darkness is at once dispelled. The moment the sun comes, all the darkness will go away. Therefore, our priorities are wrong, our focus is in the wrong place. That's why the God vision, the vision of God becomes entirely a belief for us. We put it into the category of belief and get satisfied with it. And then you hand over the entire responsibility of God worship to a priest. That is what people do. And the priest is not, if you don't know, that the priest is not a generally qualified person. The priest is not generally qualified. If he passes high school and goes to college, he will not become a priest. Only when he cannot pass that threshold of high school, then he goes into all astrologers, numerologists, priests, they fall into that categories. Politician, I used to say that, this time I did not say. In India, illiterate people have two options, have two professions. One is politics, the other is God business. That works like that. Illiterate people have. Therefore, the priest doesn't know much. There are the exceptions. I'm saying in general terms, exceptions do not make the rule. And I am not ridiculing also. I am just making the statement of fact. Therefore, priest is not qualified to guide you. But you hand over the entire worship of God business to priest. And you become a follower and a believer. So you don't worship knowledge. You don't worship love. You don't worship that knowledge is God. Love is God. You don't worship those things. You end up worshipping an idol and hand over even that worship to the priest. And you become a believer and follower. That is not what Aditya Hṛdayam is. The moment, what I said, every letter, you can prove it to yourself. Every letter. You love God, God will love you. You speak to God, God will speak to you. You cry before God, God will bless you. You cry before the world. People cry before the world. Huh? Cry before father-in-law or whatever. Whatever. Cry before boss. So cry before the pleasures and wealth. You do the same thing before God, God will bless you. You should learn to cry also. That is the intensity of the feeling. Okay? I'm not promoting emotionalism. I'm emphasizing the feeling of love. That is upasana. Okay? And so, when the Aditya, the sun, blesses Rama, the dispelling of the forces of darkness, that is Ravana. Niśicharapati saṅkṣayaṃ. So it is not far away. It is soon. And the sun blessed Rama. Sun is surrounded by various devatas. That is Hiranyagarbha, you know. Not only Hiranyagarbha is surrounded by devatas, you are surrounded by devatas. Your eyes are the sun. Your ears are the Digdevata. Your speech is Agni Devata. Your feet are walking faculty is Vishnu. Your hands are Indra. And your intellect is Brihaspati. Your love is God, Brahma or Brahma. Therefore, the Creator, surrounded by devatas, blessed Rama, and Rama received the blessing, and he is now ready for the next course of action. So that finishes Aditya Hṛdayam. So here, you see, you have to understand, all flows from Atma. Therefore, when you worship the sun, the same sun is in your heart as the innermost self. And all blessings in life flow from Atma. Unfortunately, what we do is one painter, this painting, God-related painting is very popular in India. Painting, dance, drama, music, everything is connected to religion in India because religion is the mainstream. So if there is painting, that is religious. If the music, it is religious. Dance, everything is religious. Therefore, the painter, what he does, he puts Sai Baba's painting. Sai Baba, you know, Shirdi Baba. And he puts the hand like this. And from the center of the hand, the rays of light come and fall upon the devotee. That is how people believe. The rays of light, the blessings come from God outside in the form of rays. You are just imagining, nothing more than that. It never comes like that. The blessing, all blessings come from within. You have to understand, happiness doesn't come from outside into you. It comes from within. And peace doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. And Atma Chaitanyam, the inner awareness, is the source of good health. Good health also doesn't come out from outside into you. It comes from within. So you become spiritually right, then psychological and physical dimensions, they become healthy. If you are spiritually bankrupt, then psychological and physical dimensions will be entirely messed up. Therefore, all blessings come from inner self. That you have to do. Then the moment you move forward with enthusiasm, that is what Rama is doing, enthusiasm and cheerfulness. People, they do work with frustration and with no love for the work. That is how they do. Because it is a yoke on the shoulders and it has to be done, otherwise the boss will do something. That is not the spirit of doing work. When you proceed to work hard, udyama, work hard, and work with cheerfulness, don't complain. So once you do that, the outcome will be all joy and fulfillment. Therefore, the rays of light of the sun, that was early morning, they fell upon Rama. It is as good as the sun is blessing Rama. And the sunlight, it dispels the darkness That is certain. That is what happened. And therefore, outer sun dispels the darkness, the inner sun dispels the disappointment, frustration, unhappiness, fear, lack of confidence. All those qualities are dispelled. That is the inner darkness that is dispelled by the inner sun. Once you have the blessing of the sun, outer as well as the inner, now you have the blessings of all devatas. Okay? Generally, people will be doing blessings of devata. This devata I got, but that devata I did not get. Like that, they become very superstitious about it. You have to understand, all devatas are included in Hiranyagarbha, who is in the form of the solar orb before us, and who is also the innermost self. Therefore, you have once you have the blessings of Aditya, you have blessings of all devatas. So Rama jumped into the fray, and the canto has come to an end, and the battle between Rama and Ravana started. There is no comparison for that battle. Rama Ravanayor yuddham, Rama Ravanayoriva. The battle between Rama and Ravana is comparable to the battle between Rama and Ravana. There is no other comparison. And so Ravana was a very great warrior, but he could not stand before Rama. And Rama's arrow slays Ravana. And the victory becomes, comes to Sri Rama. And then all the difficulties of Sita Devi have come to an end. And then Sita was asked to go through Agni Pariksha is Prakshipta. It is not part of Valmiki. It is not there in Valmiki's Ramayana. Somebody else added it. Who added, why added, I have mentioned here in this book. So to convert the poetry of an epic into the miracles and mysteries of Purana, that is the effort done by somebody. And in the process, they have introduced this Agni Pariksha kind of thing to Sita Devi. And Rama has never, he doesn't have any doubt about Sita. Sita need not prove herself. All of that came in the medieval period. And that brought a lot of bad name for Rama. Very sad. All that is mentioned here. So finally it says, Bhagavan is shining before you as the sun. And so the author of the book prays to Bhagavan that all people should understand Valmiki's Ramayana. By studying Ramayana, they should cultivate the devotion to Sri Rama and thus make their life fulfilled. Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. That is how the book comes to an end. Now here are a few questions. So Sanskrit meaning for 31. So let us say, adha afterwards, Ravihi the sun, muditamanāḥ, having a happy mind, paramam very much, prahṛṣyamāṇaḥ, becoming pleased, rāmaṃ Rama, nirīkṣya, having seen. You are following? That is how Aditya looked at Rama. Okay? So it is like when you look at the other person is looking at you like that. Like that. It can be positive, it can be negative also. Somebody questioned, why are you looking at me? Then that person said, how do you know that I am looking at you? So it can be negative also. So if you look at the sun is looking at you. Niśicharapati saṅkṣayaṃ. The impending destruction of the Lord of forces of darkness. Viditvā, having understood. Suragaṇa madhyagatō, obtaining in the midst of groups of devatas. Tvara, make haste. Iti, thus. Vachaha, word. Avadat. Avadat is at the beginning. Spoke. Okay? That is the meaning of the verse. Ityārṣē śrīmadrāmāyaṇē yuddhakāṇḍē Aditya Hṛdaya stotram sampurnam. Now let us say a few questions. There is something more? Now let us recite the whole thing. I will say it and you have to say following me. We have time, you don't worry. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Tato yuddha parishrantam samare chintaya sthitam ravananchagrato društva yuddhaya samupasthitam daivataischa samagamya drashtumabhyagato ranam upagamyabrabīd rāmaṃ agastyo bhagavān rishih rāma rāma mahābāho śrunu guhyam sanātanam yena sarvānarīn vatsa samare vijayishyasi. There can be variation also, vijayishyase, such variations could be there. Aditya Hṛdayam punyam sarvashatru vināshanam jayāvaham jape nityam akṣayam paramam shivam. In some places it may appear as akṣayam paramam shivam. Both are equally correct. Sarva mangala mangalyam sarva papa pranāshanam chinta shoka prashamanam ayurvardhanamuttamam rashmimantam samudyantam devasura namaskrutam pujayasva vivasvantam bhaskaram bhuvaneshwaram sarvadevatmako hiyesha tejasvi rashmi bhavanaha. Strictly, if you break it, visarga will come. But if you say combined, there is no visarga. Sarvadevatmako hiyesha tejasvi rashmi bhavanaha. Esha deva suragaṇan lokan pati gabhastibhihi esha brahma cha vishnuscha shivaskandah prajapatihi mahendro dhanadah kalo yamassomo yapam patihi pitaro vasavasadhyaha. If you break, visarga will come. If you combine visarga, you can skip. Hiyashvinau maruto manuho. You may say by skipping. Pitaro vasavasadhya hiyashvinau maruto manuho. Vayurvannhih praja prāṇah. Now we say combined. Vayurvannhih praja prāṇa ritukarta prabhākaraha. Aditya savita suryah khagah posha gabhastiman suvarna sadrusho bhānur hiranyareta divākaraha haridashvas sahasrārchis sapta saptirmarīchimān timirōnmathanaśyambhustvashta martandakom shumān hiranyagarbhashishiras tapanohaskaro ravihi agnigarbhoditehe putrashaṅkṣayaṃ vyomanathastamo bhedi ऋग्यजुस्सामपारगः घनवृष्टिरपां मृत्युः मित्रो विन्ध्यवीथीप्लवङ्गमः आतपीमण्डली मृत्युः पिङ्गलः सर्वतापनः कविर्विश्वो महातेजा रक्तः सर्वभवोद्भवः. There also when you break visarga will come, but you can say combined. नक्षत्रग्रहताराणामधिपो विश्वभावनः तेजसामपि तेजस्वी द्वादशात्मन्नमोऽस्तु ते. नमः पूर्वाय गिरये पश्चिमायाद्रये नमः. ज्योतिर्गणानां पतये दिनाधिपतये नमः. जयाय जयभद्राय हर्यश्वाय नमो नमः. नमो नमः सहस्रांशो आदित्याय नमो नमः. नम उग्राय वीराय सारंगाय नमो नमः. नमः पद्मप्रबोधाय प्रचंडाय नमोऽस्तु ते. ब्रह्मेशानाच्युतेशाय शूरायादित्यवर्चसे भास्वते सर्वभक्षाय रौद्राय वपुषे नमः. तमोघ्नाय हिमघ्नाय शत्रुघ्नायामितात्मने कृतघ्नघ्नाय देवाय ज्योतिषां पतये नमः. तप्तचामीकराभाय हरये विश्वकर्मणे नमस्तमोभिनिघ्नाय रुचये लोकसाक्षिणे. नाशयत्येष वैभूतं तमेव सृजति प्रभुः. पायत्येष तपत्येष वर्षत्येष गभस्तिभिः. If you break it, visarga will come. That's why. Esha supteshu jagarti bhuteshu parinisthitah. Esha chaivagnihotraņca phalanchaivagnihotriṇāṃ. Devāścakratavascaiva क्रतूनां फलमेव च. यानि कृत्यानि लोकेषु सर्वेषु परमः प्रभुः. एनमापत्सु कृच्छ्रेषु. So from here onwards it is Phalashruti. Up to that Aditya Hṛdayam. Kantareshu bhayeshu cha कीर्तयन् पुरुषः कश्चिन्नावसीदति राघव. You can combine also as कीर्तयन् पुरुषः कश्चिन्नावसीदति राघव. पूजयस्वैनमेकाग्रो देवदेवं जगत्पतिम्. एतत्त्रिगुणितं जप्त्वा युद्धेषु विजयिष्यति. अस्मिन् क्षणे महाबाहो रावणं त्वं जहिष्यसि एवमुक्त्वा ततोऽगस्त्यो जगाम स यथागतम् एतच्छ्रुत्वा महातेजा नष्टशोको भवत्तदा. There also when you break, visarga will come. Dharayamasa suprito Raghava prayatatmavan Adityam prekshya jiptvedam paramḥarṣamavāptavan Trirāchamya shuchirbhūtva Dhanurādāya vīryavan Rāvanam prekshya hriṣṭātmā Jayārtham samupāgamat Sarvayatnena mahata Vrutastasya vadhe bhavat Atha raviravadannirīkṣya rāmaṃ muditamanāḥ paramam prahṛṣyamāṇaḥ niśicharapati saṅkṣayaṃ viditvā suragaṇa madhyagatō vachastvarēti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu. One or two questions. How to seek forgiveness? Very simple. Very simple. You forgive all those who have wronged you, who have troubled you, and whom you consider as adversaries, and even as enemies. You forgive all of them. Then God will forgive you automatically without your seeking forgiveness. There is a prayer in Bible, "O God, forgive me, like even as I forgive all those who have wronged me." I have put it in my words. Therefore, you seek forgiveness, that is fine, that is great. But first, you deserve forgiveness by forgiving all adversaries. From today onwards, there are no adversaries in my life. I have forgiven all of them. They are all Atma. There is no enemy, no adversary, no opponent, no one who has wronged me. That is how we feel. Sometimes in a worldly context that may be true, that somebody has done a great injustice to you, but still you forgive that person, so that we can seek forgiveness from God. You have the right to seek forgiveness, provided you forgive all others. Then Om represents some saguna nirguna. How? You see, when you say Om, you are chanting the Om, which is the symbol, sound symbol of God. See, God need not be physical only. God can be, physical is a symbol. Symbol need not be physical idol. Symbol can be sound also. Suppose you put Rama's figure there, that is symbol of God. Or a photograph of Rama, that is symbol of God. Or you say Rama, that is also symbol of God. That is word symbol. And Om is the word symbol of God. Therefore, you inhale deeply, and then while exhaling, you say Om, like you say Rama. That is Saguna Upasana. Or you inhale, and while exhaling, you allow your personality to resolve in the Om, and in the following silence, you just merge. And that pure, awareful being is Brahman, which is myself. Therefore, Om takes you into that pure, awareful being, which is Brahman. That is Jnana. So, Om you can use both ways. So then, what upasana we do with Vishnu Sahasranama? Please do that. Vishnu Sahasranama has both kinds of names. I used to separate them. This is jnanam, this is upasana, like that. You may listen to some of the Vishnu Sahasranama classes that I have taken. Dozens of classes are available. If you listen to those classes with the text before you, you will know whether it is upasana or jnana. Many names will be upasana. So some of them are jnana. So Vishnu Sahasranama is ideal for both jnanam and upasana. Devi Saptashati, it doesn't fit into this kind of rajasa, sattvika thing. And it has its own glory, but you require some guidance to do upasana of the Devi Saptashati. And if some of these gurus, they have converted Devi Saptashati into very rajasic thing. They take everything literally. These Rakshasas are there, and Devi comes and she kills them. It is all about killing and bloodshed and all that. And therefore, some people are put off also by that. Therefore, it becomes more rajasic, and they made it very much tamasic also. They call Devi as Tamasi. They call her the Tamasi. She holds the skulls, makes as a mala and puts in the neck. Munda mala. Why, what is all that? Therefore, a correct person should handle Devi Mahatmyam or Devi Saptashati. Then from it, Satvik Upasana can come forward. But the way it is handled in the world, I do not recommend it to you as Upasana. You be satisfied with Vishnu Sahasranama and Aditya Hṛdayam, Gayatri Upasana. If you want to go to Devi Saptashati, you can, but somebody should put it in the right perspective to you. Then you can do that. Lalita Sahasranama is a tantric text. Why do you worry about it? You are asking a wrong person. So I am not recommending, you said Vishnu Sahasranama, and so it is not in the same category. Sahasranama means Vishnu Sahasranama. Mantra means Gayatri Mantra. So these are supreme. Gita means Bhagavad Gita. There are so many other Gitas in the world. So many Sahasranamas. Why you cannot go through all those Sahasranamas? And some of the namas sound silly also. So why you go into all that? Just stay with Vishnu Sahasranama, the original. When you go for phone, you go for Apple phone, something like that. There are many other phones in the market, but you go for the best. Similarly, Vishnu Sahasranama is the best. And with proper guidance, Devi Saptashati can be adopted. And Saundarya Lahari is not by Shankara. Why do you worry about Saundarya Lahari? People believe that it is by Shankara. It is not. Shivananda Lahari is good poetry. They say it is Shankara. I am not sure about it. So, out of the 5 or 6 that you mentioned, I recommend Aditya Hṛdayam and Vishnu Sahasranama. Devi Saptashati, very conditionally. So, the other things I do not recommend. Shivananda Lahari, if you love poetry, you can follow that. Or you can follow Shivananda Lahari also for Upasana. I find it hard to focus descriptive verses such as Saundarya Lahari, Sahasranamam, etc. So you have difficulty yourself. God bless you. So leave it alone. Leave it alone. What is the difference between the surrender to the higher power outside and Dvaita Visishtadvaita surrender? In Dvaita Visishtadvaita, there is no real surrender. They say surrender, it is not real surrender. It is not in the form of understanding and feeling. It is in the form of a ritual. There the surrender means they wear yellow clothes and go to the temple by walk for 10 miles or 20 miles and then go around 108 times and then give some dakshina and do some puja. That is what they call surrender. So everything is converted into, and a guru is also involved. So you pray to the guru also. So guru and a priest, that is a package. That is the surrender package. And you are not surrendering your ego. Ego you retain. In fact, you have to retain. If you lose your ego, that becomes Advaita, and we don't want Advaita. That is how. You have to retain ego and make it, what kind of ego? A kind of a believing ego, following ego, subservient ego you should have. That is Advaita. No ego is Advaita. Therefore, in Advaita version of surrender, there will be no ego. To begin with, ego will be there, but then it flip-flop. With ego, you start and end in egoless awareness. That is the surrender. Therefore, Dvaita kind of surrender, don't bother about it. It is not for you. Sri Shankara discusses surrender as Atmanishtha only. It begins as surrender and ends as Atmanishtha. Wave starts worshipping the ocean. That is how the wave begins. And then finally wave resolves in the ocean. So, Sri Ramakrishna gave a beautiful example. There was a salt doll. We are all salt dolls only in a way. We eat a lot of pickle and all that coming from South India. We are the salt dolls. And so the salt doll wanted to know the depth of the ocean, how deep it is. Then somebody advised, okay, you take a dive and check, and once you find it, please don't forget to mention to me. That is what somebody said. That the salt doll dived, and before it found it's the depth of the ocean, it merged with the ocean. So the salt doll diving into the ocean is upasana, and merging in the ocean is the jnana. Therefore, you surrender to the inner self, which is God, and allow the ego to resolve in it, that is upasana. And finally, it becomes egoless awareness, that is called Atmanishtha by Shankara. So, Atmanishtha begins as upasana and becomes Atmanishtha. Upasana means love, bhakti, love. You should have love, that is upasana. And about anger, this is pending, but now I'm not discussing much. I can only say one thing. Anger is the byproduct of desire. There is a desire, therefore you have an anger. If you don't have desire, there will be no anger. So, kama esha, krodha esha. Rajoguna samudbhavaha. Unless you are a very worldly person, Rajoguna is a worldly person, you will not have anger. Only worldly persons are angry because they get frustrated. Their desires are thwarted and so they become angry. Therefore, you have to understand all that movement of mind. It begins as desire and then takes shape as anger. And then people justify anger. There is no justifiable anger in this creation. There is no justifiable anger. Okay? When you are angry, you give instructions to somebody to take your photograph of the face in focus and let him show it. At that time, if he shows, you will be angry with him. Therefore, at that time, he keeps it aside, and when you become calm, then he will show it to you. Then you look at your face, you will not like your face. Generally, whenever you look in the mirror, you like your face. But when your face is photographed, when you are angry, the hideous lines that happen in the face because of your anger, you yourself will not like your face. This is my face? Yes. When? When I was angry. When you are angry. My God, if this is what anger is doing to my face, I don't want anger. Therefore, there is no anger that is justifiable. Therefore, stop justifying anger. And also understand the origin of anger is in your desire and in your worldliness. So the more you are desirous, covetous, and worldly, the more angry you become. It is not good for health. People, they follow wrong path and become sick and then complain. And somebody says, because of the planet you became sick. What can we say? Nobody becomes sick because of the planet. They become sick because they are very worldly people, and the mind is full of restlessness, agitation, and all negativity. Therefore, the people become sick, not because of the planet. Therefore, once you come into this understanding, listen to some Vedanta classes, your anger will go away. So that completes all the questions. So, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. When I was considering Aditya Hṛdayam, I was wondering how will it go. But now today I feel very fulfilled that I have done a text of Upasana. Even that makes me feel good, that sense of love, the devotion, etc. It is kindled in the heart all these days while presenting the Aditya Hṛdayam. You need that love. So love without jnanam without love is not Advaita. Jnanam with love is Advaita. That's why when I say Sachidananda, that Ananda I always explain as love, and that becomes Bhakti. Therefore, there is no difference between Bhakti and Jnanam. Begin with Bhakti, end up in Jnanam. Having gained Jnanam, make it enjoyable with love, with devotion. Therefore, Aditya Hṛdayam is the text where Bhakti and Jnanam are nicely mixed and together. It also proves that they are not different. Therefore, and you all paid attention to the classes, and I'm very happy with your attention. So once again, I thank you all. God bless all of you. May God bless all of you. Oh.
We will have just a 5-minute break. Then
Oh,
we'll start
break.
closing remarks.
Books are there. They are all meant for you. Please feel free and get it. Along with Guru Dakshina, one book is given, and over and above that also you can feel free. Oh.
Finish the closing remarks. If people want to say something, then we start.
So 5 minutes break.
Hello? No? Yeah, it's working now. Okay.
Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Monica, can you pass me my phone? Thank you. Yes, that's this thing. I do.
Hello, hello. Great. All right. Well, some of you might be wondering that why I want a chair. I means the body, by the way. You have to remember that. That there is some stage which you call a matured body. You know, when body is matured, it needs some comfort. Some people call it old body, you know. It's just a matured body and it needs comfort, and one has to take care of the body. And all of you should also take care of body. One day it's going to get matured. At this time, it's okay. By the way, there are people who take care of their vehicle also, cars and all that. Where is, yeah, I'm just looking at Jay, you know. He has got a car which was bought in 2000. And he has taken care of that car. It's working very well, functioning very well. We have all suggested that he should buy a new car, but he says, why should he have a new car, you know? We don't need a new body, by the way. You can just keep the body which you have got. Let me start by offering my pranams to Puja Swamiji and all Jignasu here. By the way, everyone who is sitting here is a Jignasu. Otherwise, you will not be coming here. Jignasu means you have a great craving to know your own self. So, I try to follow Swamiji because I believe in satsang. That is, when I'm listening to Swamiji in person, it's entirely different from when you are listening online or listening to recording and all that. One of the big differences is that when you are listening in person, you can also feel his thoughts. I capture those thoughts. And I can tell you it is 10 times or maybe 100 times more effective if you listen in person. I'm just encouraging you, if you can manage to really listen to him in person, it will make a huge difference. That's why I try to follow him wherever he goes. Wherever he speaks in English language, I try to follow it. Eyes, body, by the way, again, just to remind you. And some people really think this is something like pilgrimage. It is not a pilgrimage at all, by the way. Pilgrimage is connected with the external objects. A person says, I'll go to Kashi, I'll go to Prayagraj, and all that, you know. Some people want to go to Kashi to die also, like Swamiji was saying, no? Kashi marat mukt karat kahat rāmaṃ. You know, this is a part of that. Prem mudat man se kaho rāma rāma rāma. So this is very different. In fact, if you go and listen to Swamiji in person, it is an inward journey. It really will awaken you. So I'm just talking about the power of satsang, which is also mentioned in Bhaja Govindam, in great detail about it. So I'll encourage all of you to really try to do that. Now, I've talked about Swamiji many, many times, maybe about a dozen times or even more. I've talked about him and talked about his teaching. And I normally decide that this time I'm not going to speak. But it so happened when I listen to him in person, I'm saying I get tempted to say a few words. So again, I'm here and I'm tempted to say a few words about Swamiji. You know, when I started listening to Swamiji long time back, at that time I started thinking that he's more like Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, for two reasons. One reason is he does not follow tradition. You have heard about that many, many times. The second reason is he seems to know more about Shankara Bhashya, Sanskrit and Shankara Bhashya, than anybody else I have known, by the way. In fact, Puja Swamiji told me one time, he said, if you want to learn Shankara Bhashya, you go to Swami TV. So very, very unique. But as the time went by, I started watching him also. I have a bad habit of watching Swamiji, by the way. So don't mind that. And I started feeling that he's living the life, whatever he is teaching. That is, as you say, whatever he preaches, he lives that life. And then he reminded me of Ramatirtha. Swami Ramatirtha was also living that life. And Swami Ramatirtha had one more commonality with Swamiji, that is, he was a mathematician. Swamiji is also a mathematician. He loves binomial theorem. That's his favorite, which is not easy to follow, by the way, binomial theorem. It becomes very complex. Simple level, it's easy, but once you go deep into it, it's a part of algebra, if those of you who don't know about it. So I started feeling that he is now a Swami Ramatirtha, having the knowledge of Vedanta at the same time, having the knowledge of science, mathematics, literature, so many other subjects. That's why I call it multi-dimensional teaching. That's what he really teaches. Now this time, I again started thinking, is he Swami Ramatirtha? And this time it struck me that he is even beyond that. And I call that as Vibhuti. What is a Vibhuti? Vibhuti is a special manifestation of Ishvara. A manifestation which really connects you with Supreme Self. It really reminds you of Ishvara. You go to, for example, I give an example, like stand on the edge of Grand Canyon and see how you feel. Because it's a special manifestation. Actually, Bhagavad Gita also talks about Vibhuti Yoga in the 10th chapter. He talks about a number of other cases also, like, some are like Kapila, Maharishi, and all that kind of thing. And this is what it is happening really. I started noticing that when I'm listening to Swamiji, when I say Vibhuti means his mind and his speech, his expression, I really get at that time the feeling that I'm getting connected with that Supreme Self. So that's why now I feel that he is like a Vibhuti, a special manifestation. By the way, Bhuti means a simple manifestation, ordinary manifestation, like you see everywhere. You see dirt, you see these kind of things, and all that, And the main message which I have been noticing, which he has been giving over and over and over, by the way, is that you be a Sakshi. And he started this time a special experiment that on one side he's teaching Upasana. Upasana yoga, by the way, it's not just Upasana. Upasana can be Sakam Upasana, where you want something. This is yoga, Upasana yoga. And the other side, he's teaching Jnana yoga. That is in Atma Bodha. And by the way, that I'm just repeating what Swamiji has said, that even if you are a karma yogi, that is not enough for you to develop that craving. It will not make you jignasu. To become mumukshu or jignasu, you have to really follow upasana. That is, you have to surrender to that higher power. Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is Ishvara, by the way. That is where it's the firstborn, as we call it, That is what it is. So basically, that he is telling us that you be a Sakshi, Sakshi Chaitanyam, witnessing awareness. Try to witness everything. And this witness is, by the way, not a simple witness, like I'm looking at some chair or something. It's not that kind of witness, by the way. This witness has such a power, inner power, where whatever you are witnessing, you really transfer the power to that what is being witnessed. That is, you are transferring Kriya Shakti to the body, and you are transferring Jnana Shakti to the mind. It's something very similar to when we look at sun, which really is transferring all the life force into the entire universe. So this is what is happening in this one, that you are really transferring that power while watching. Even without knowing it, you are transferring that power. And some of the power you can transfer to other bodies also. This you are transferring to an upadhi, which you call as your body, which a person says, my body and my mind. And it completely transforms both. And this is why he keeps on emphasizing, be a witness, be a Sakshi Chaitanyam. By the way, in this course, he also covered few other things, very unique thing which he has talked before. But each time when I hear him this time, it comes across as fresh, very, very fresh. That it really shows that there is something additional which he is telling. He talked about fear, for example. He talked about attachment, psychological dependency, he talked a lot about fear also. At one time, he also mentioned about don't compare yourself, he said. Now, you can, by the way, it doesn't mean that comparison is also one of the cancerous emotion. You can call it cancerous emotion. Why I'm talking about, I'll talk a little bit more about it. That basically, whenever you try to compare, you will either become arrogant, or you will really feel jealous, or you will feel depressed. Don't even compare with anything, even don't compare with a dog also, like Jiva, don't compare with Jiva. Because you will find that he is living a much better life than you are living yourself, So don't really try to compare this thing. I just want to tell you that those of you who have not read a book by Stephen Covey, who wrote a famous book known as 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. That is in the material world he's talking about. He also was like a karma yogi. Then he wrote another book known as The 8th Habit. That is a very fascinating book, by the way. In the 8th habit, he has talked about 5 cancerous emotions. He says those are the ones which really create agitation in your mind all the time, and you have to get rid of it. He said, don't compare yourself with anybody. If you want to compare one chair with another, it's fine. But don't compare your own self with anybody. Then he also said, don't compete with anybody. Another C, he said, don't compete with anybody. Then he says, don't complain. If your observation is okay, you can observe something and tell this is what it is. But don't complain about it. Like Swamiji says, the difference between endurance and tolerance says that in the case of endurance, you tolerate without complaining. Then he also says that don't criticize. You can critique. Critique is an analysis. Like Critique of Pure Reasoning coming from Immanuel Kant. Critique of Practical Reasoning. These are the 2 famous books by Immanuel Kant, by the way. They are not easy to understand. I have tried. It doesn't work very well, very, very difficult to understand that one. And then he finally says, don't even contend. That is, if you are dealing with somebody, don't try to be assertive about it, That don't really try to say, I am right and you are wrong, especially if you are dealing with a Dvaita. If the dualist is there, don't even make the mistake. I have tried number of times and it has created a lot of problem. I had to really suddenly withdraw to get out of that situation. And they won't leave you also, by the way. A Dvaita will not leave you. You try to withdraw, he'll follow you, by the way. He'll try to impress you that you are wrong. So he says this thing, that all these 5 things are what? Don't compare, don't compete, don't complain, don't criticize, and don't contend. And he calls this, Stephen Covey calls it, as 5 cancerous emotions. You have to get rid of it. And he said, if you get rid of that one, then you go from highly effectiveness to greatness. That is what is spirituality, by the way. I might like to share one anecdote, if Swamiji permits. By the way, this time I'm going to talk, but normally, this just comes to me, but I looked at Swamiji and that anecdote came over. That anecdote came from Swamiji, by the way. It's not my own anecdote, by the way. And he was talking about the pretentiousness. Pretentiousness, most of the people think Dambha is pretentiousness. Swamiji said, no, it's not Dambha. He said Dambha means ostentatiousness. But it comes in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that where you have got 20 values, starting with verse number 7. It starts with amanitvam, that don't brag about your achievements. Then it says adham vitvam, which really say that I'm just using it, don't be pretentious. They are not very much different, but there is a difference between the 2. So he says people try to pretend what they are not. Oh yeah, this guy is also barking at me, that he is also pretending to be something different. Anyway, so people try to pretend. Whenever they meet, they try to pretend that what they are not. They try to really not. Bragging about your accomplishment is one thing. Pretending is that you are bragging more than what you have achieved. A person is not happy by just bragging about that. A person will say, I did this also, I am doing all this study, And I have been following you, Swamiji, whatever you say, I follow you, all that, I practice that. I sit and in Shambhavi Mudra and that tree disappears, all that kind of thing. I hear all these things, by the way, all the time. So this is about pretentiousness, and Swamiji gave example. He said there were 3 friends. You can consider them brahmacharis, by the way. And those people had to go from one village to another village at night time. And they started going. They found, it was a very dangerous place, and they happened to find there was a ruin. A building was there, old building. So they decided, let's rest in this building for the night. And tomorrow morning, when the sun rises, we'll start moving. So they decided to lie down there. And there was a statue there. I'm just modifying it, whatever I remember. There was a statue of Ganesha, with a big belly. He had that, And in the belly, there was a hole, navel, which you call as navel, that hole was there. So these 3 people went to kind of sleep, and one of them really started thinking, there may be some jewel or maybe some, in ruins you can find some diamonds. So he said, maybe in that navel there is a diamond. So he puts his finger in that one, and in that one there was a scorpion. And scorpion stung that finger. And he said, ooh, he really. And one of the other person got up at that time. But he doesn't want to say that he has been stung by scorpion, So he really brought it next to his nose and said, oh, what a jasmine smell, such a wonderful smell. So, okay. So he just went away, although he's feeling a lot of pain, by the way, but he doesn't want to show that he pretends, Now, the other guy who heard about it, he thinks, oh, there is something very special inside that one. So this guy pretended to sleep now. The other guy got up, he put his finger, and scorpion again stung him badly. And then the third guy got up, Then he says, oh, this is a rose smell. That third guy also, he's also very impatient, and he also put his finger. And then they asked him, what happened? He shouted. He said, no, there is lilac smell. So that's what I just wanted to tell you about pretentiousness. And I can tell you this was a great experiment to really have upasana and jnanam, because upasana leads to jnanam. It's a provisional duality, and I'm sure all of you are quite convinced about it. Only thing is, it has to be nishkama upasana. It has to be upasana yoga. And by the way, upasana is involved in every field, like bhakti yoga is everywhere. Karma yoga is bhakti yoga. If you read Swamiji's book, he picks up the last verse of 11th chapter. He starts with that one, That is also bhakti. That bhakti yoga is bhakti. Every yoga is bhakti, by the way. Only thing is, one is shaguna bhakti, another is nirguna bhakti. And Swamiji has just explained about Om also. You go through shaguna, and then silence is the nirguna. Well, thank you very much for your patience, and thank you for having this comfort of the chair.
Do I need to sit? No, I can just stand, right? No, I need to sit. Okay. So this time I haven't written a poem. I wanted to surprise everybody. So I haven't written a poem about the learnings that I have, and like I usually do, but I just wanted to have an impromptu speech. That's kind of what I want to do today. 5 years ago, I think 2017, Swamiji was here for a few days. There was some kind of a connection. and then from 2019, he's been here every year except 2020. So for the last 4 years, and I myself, in the last 4 years, see myself changing. Like Swamiji says, I remember when he first told me that look at your emotions, body is an idea in your mind. All these things kind of started changing me internally. Okay, so I can see myself questioning everything I do, realizing everything I do. Thinking about everything I do and becoming that witnessing awareness at some points in time. I'm not sure if I am doing it completely every time, but I can say that I am becoming witnessing, not reacting, taking emotions away, and I can see myself changing now. I don't know if that is outwardly visible to other people, but internally I feel the same. I think it's probably changing. So I do want to say thank you, Swamiji. I have not read a lot of the scriptures and don't know Sanskrit, but I have started learning the little bit of words as I went along, and so thank you for all of that. The other thing I do want to say as an example is I have seen things come together and things happen. Like Swamiji says, you don't have to think that you put in the effort to do the work. I can say this because Swamiji was coming this time, and I don't think there was any effort that I put in myself. It just automatically, all the setups were done, and it just went through, and Kishorji took care of and John took care of the sounds, and it's just happened in time. I didn't even think that I needed to put any effort into it. So what I'm here to speak is not about the learnings that has been teaching, but the learning of how it applied to my own situations as I went along. And I think at the end of it, what I want to say is learn it. I think it's one of the things. Love it and live it. I think those are the three things that we'll have to do as we learn and grow and be jignasyus all through the life. The one other thing that was bothering me all the time is when will I get moksha, right? And the answer that Swamiji gave me made me think it's not something that is going to happen to you one day right away. It's a slow change that you're going to see all through life, right, as you go through it. And so what I want to say in that is just examine yourself and question everything that you do and see how you have reacted to situations, and then apply the learnings that you have learned from Swamiji. And I haven't really learned a lot from a lot of Swamijis, so I only have learned from Swami TV. So and I'm honored and blessed that he comes and stays with us every year and imparts knowledge, and I can see people grow and mature, and maybe we all at some point in time will attain moksha. So thank you.
John will say a few words.
Swamiji, pranam. I've been elected to pass on greetings from the streamers. We've had so many devoted streamers. I can't name them all. Yashodhara, Fatima, Maria, Tattvavidananda, so many. A couple of them have passed on some thank yous. I think she's Spain, yeah. Maria. Renu says, sincere gratitude to Swamiji for his invaluable and direct pointings and sharings. Thanks to the team for bringing this to all of us. Z, who's been a regular streamer, yes, Swamiji's words, his speech are in one straight line, and it reflects in his teachings. We value his teachings very much. It has made a lot of difference in my life. Thank you. I thought of so many things to say to you, but the truth is simple. I heard that somewhere. And so I'll simply say, before I was blind, and now I see much better.
Anybody else to say anything?
I don't know where to start, but let me just tell you. So obviously I went to a Christian school. Sorry. Okay. So as a child, I went to a Christian school, an American mission school. Before that, a Hindu school up to 5th grade. So I learned meditation very early in childhood. And when I moved to the Christian school, every day we had prayer sessions in the morning, and it was almost seamless. And then when I went to medical college, the one thing I missed were the prayer sessions. It was almost depressing, med school. I was like, something was missing. And of course, I moved to the US. And night shifts, all I did on the internet was read spirituality. So all my time off, anytime, just to keep myself awake, I would just search because, like I said, I could almost say like, growing up in Chennai, it was like, you had all kinds of things. You had Ayyappa songs, you had Navratri songs blaring exam times, and then Christian schooling. So when I came to America, it was more of, I'm not religious, but I'm more spiritual kind of a person. So I kind of evolved beyond religion. And that spirituality, I don't know, they say, right, when your student is ready, the master comes. I think that's how everything has happened since in my life. And, the Shivalingam that is right across from my house, I don't know, some punya from some previous generation. Seema lives across from me, and I just have to have that energy there. Okay, the cul-de-sac right across. And sometimes I feel like Shiva scolding me. I'm right here in front of you. You don't even come and see me, So that's how it was. And then Jayanti became our friend, and we used to go to Dawn, her old house, where Arunji used to conduct classes. This was in 2012. One thing led to another, and here we have Swamiji now. And it's like, you tell me, if you were in my shoes, how do you feel? This life journey. Did I choose this? I don't think so. I think all of you chose me. Okay? And that's the way I feel. I mean, every day it's like, I listen to his lectures, even when he's not here, the lectures. The only thing that gives me solace is this kind of a satsang. So it's been like that always. My husband knows, he's lived with me. And he almost feels like I'm living on the edge of the things. It's like I'm not part of mainstream world, but that's me. So I'm very grateful. Again, there is no I, there is no grateful. It's just like seamless for me. Things are just happening around me. I just happen to be part of it. I'm just like Aditya Hṛdayam. You just stand in the sun, you feel the warmth. That's how. So it's like all this just makes me keep going every day. I can't be more grateful, thankful, whatever. But I'm glad it's happening. Really, every moment, everything, all of this just makes me me. Thank you.
Swamiji, Jayanti's dad has written it, and he has written it in Tamil. So, just I will read it and probably the gist of it. Oh, okay. Right. So, first he is saying that, to see you itself, the eyes are not sufficient. It is your blessings, and seeing you itself is like 1,000 janmas punya or something he has done. And he was wondering about who am I, and that from your lecture he got the clarification, and his Atma Jyoti is able to see it. Yeah, he's saying Sat Sit Anandam, with your blessings we can achieve it, and he's written his name. Thank you, and we all echo his comments.
So, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Om. Pranams to Swamiji and everyone here. Ishvara's blessings made this event happen. We all normally say it takes a village. This time, no. We are going to say it takes Ishvara to make this happen. I'm learning, Swamiji, some upasana.
You are the upasaka.
First of all, this is about thanking different people. The first and most important thank you goes to Swamiji. He has been very patient with all of us. Jayanti ji said he has been coming here since 2017, but we have been associated with him since 2019. In the last 5 years, he's come 4 years. Despite COVID, just because of COVID once, he could not come in 2020. But every year, he's showing his love, coming here. And next year, we are going to be even getting more longer, 4 weeks almost. So, thank you, Swamiji. So, and one thing that I have seen is he incessantly, constantly works. Whenever I send him an email, I get a response. It doesn't matter what time of day or night it is. I'm not sure how that happens. So one thing I understand is, I think other people have said, he practices what he preaches. One way that I understood, this is my interpretation of what is, if I separate work and life, that is Dvaitam and that is Dukkham. He does not separate his work, which is his teaching, from his life. That is Advaita. That is, so in this case, Swamiji, there is no even a provisional Dvaitam here. So even a small amount of provisional Dvaitam of separating work and life, I think it leads to suffering. So I think that does not happen. That is something I think I really need to learn from him. Now, coming into the thank yous, next to Swamiji, the most important group that made this happen is the ashram. When I say the ashram, it is the entire board of directors. They have been very, very supportive for this outreach event in Phoenix. and specifically interacted mainly with Pramod Deshmukh ji and Lata Deshmukh ji and Suddhatma ji. They have been instrumental in making this happen. We thank them for their unwavering support for this extended outreach. And Swamiji has stopped doing all the other outreaches, but this Phoenix one is continuing, and we sincerely hope that it continues. Next to that, this the other group of people that I would like to thank is the what we call the Phoenix core group. This core group is a virtual core group. There are some people now started in Phoenix, but now it's started by, again, thankful to Arunji and Pramilaji. They instigated us to be adventurous and start this in 2019. I think it luckily happened. We just stepped up and said, we will make this happen. That was the longest, the program so far, 5 weeks. And that was the most widely attended so far of all the events, 65 people at peak. So that is, thank you again, Arunji and Pramilaji. And next to them, as you may be aware, as I think Jayanti ji already mentioned, the two people, Jayanti ji and Suren ji, they have been the hosts of Swamiji, I think, since 2019 that I know them. And they wholeheartedly give their house and take care of Swamiji completely, unconditionally, without asking any questions. I just need to ask them, will you host? And smilingly they agree. And without their host, their Swamiji, we could not have this done. So again, thank you, Jayanti ji and Suren ji. And besides that, Jayanti ji is also our treasurer. For those of you that are doing this stuff, you know that it goes to Surendran Trust. That means that is help. So she's been phenomenally helpful. Besides that, the other core members there is Kadambari, which is sort of a virtual one. She's not locally. She used to be in Phoenix, but not here anymore. She is the one that actually has been, she is not even attending, but she actually donated for the Annadanam separately. So actually sponsoring some people. Forgot to mention, Jayanti ji and Suren ji also sponsored another additional guest, in addition to whatever that they're doing, for their complete food, in addition to providing accommodation. Thank you. The other core member that we recently inducted is Leela ji and Sai. They have been, she's the one that actually have been coordinating all of the chefs for those that are doing chefs and cooking for Swamiji, morning and evening and everything. Thank you again, Leela ji and Sai. And they have also, this is normally that you don't hear. Since we needed to transport people, they have given us their van. Normally people are very, they can give their house, they can do other things, but giving my car for somebody else to drive for 3 or 4 weeks, so that we can accommodate people to go back and forth instead of renting from someplace else, they've given their minivan. And thank you very much. And the other person that is again virtually helping us is the Subhadraji, and she's been coordinating with people regarding their payments and this is the meals and this is the cost of the meals, etc., etc. Thank you, Subhadraji. And another 2 people that we actually inducted into our core group is Rajiji and Panduji. They are, without their help, I don't know what we could have. Yeah, they are, yeah, exactly. Why? I tell them that they run the ashram in Pennsylvania and they run the Phoenix retreat as well. Series of thank yous. Okay, hope they are not boring. The next, very important people, especially for the streamers, are the people that do the audio, video, and audio visuals. And for that, everybody is aware, all the streamers and everybody here, John. John is John is a unique person. Whenever I needed to do anything, whatever with respect to audio, he's ready to help. He just goes and picks the right equipment or whatever needs to happen and say, buy this stuff or what. Thank you, John. And he's actually donated, or he's actually provides our music systems at the other residents and all the other stuff as well. And in addition to John, Sudhakar, he actually came here and set up this system, and the speakers here are from Sudhakar. And he has been phenomenally helpful. And Sudhakar is a very close friend. And then in addition to them, of course, Panduji and Rajiji, as I said before, everywhere else, especially Pandu. And he has been very helpful whenever there is a substitute required or whatever, or other things. And so as far as the audio-visual setup is concerned. And so again, on the audio-visuals, one of the core members I mentioned, Kadambari, she's the one, all those slides that you're seeing, for those that are seeing, they're all made by Kadambari. And that's what we have been using to actually project the slides while the videos are going on. And I'm not well versed in any of these things. So whenever I want any text, what is an authentic text, I always go to Kalpeshji. And he is the one that actually provided me the text for the Atmapada, Aditya, Hṛdayam in multiple languages and all of that stuff. Thank you, Kalpeshji. The other things is about the chefs. As I said before, Leelaji has been the coordinator. Supporting her, of course, Jayanti ji here. She is the chief chef because she takes care of all of Swamiji's meals. Here, whenever, as long as all the breakfast and everything else and anything extra, somebody does not bring something any time, but Swamiji takes care of full care. So she's, of course. And then few others, not in any particular order. I just went to the group and just picked the names. Hemashri, Chaliki, Pramila ji, of course, Shashi ji, Sandhya Venugopal, she's been cooking for quite a few meals, both in the morning and the evening. Jayanti Vijay there, that you see there. Shampa, which is a very close friend of ours, could not make it today, Sudhakar's wife. And Shyamala Wanka, I think she's here. I saw her in the morning. And then Hema Patel and Srilata Shirikuri. And but one thing before I go to the others, I'll mention. Before I go to the others, because I mentioned Hema Patel, I just want to tell you a small thing that happened. Hema actually signed up for Swamiji's food one morning. I think it's Tuesday or something, I don't remember. It just so happened, we were not aware, on that Monday night, her father or dad passed away. She didn't even tell us that we could have done something else. Through all the things that she's been going through, she made sure that the food is prepared for Swamiji and delivered it. That is something, again, how sincerity of once you take up something and sticking to it. That's just an example. In addition, of course, the other, as a continuing, which is the Shubha Ekambaram, is also helped with the cooking. And in addition, sometimes you see in those are the chefs, you say something like Narayan guests. Who are these Narayan guests? These are the Raji, Monica, Gayatri, Mangaji, Bakul, all these people. They made. Okay. So, next to the chefs, the other most important people, of course, maybe more important even the chefs, are the hosts. There are quite a few, as you know. There are at peak about 25 people or so from out of town, and they all have been accommodated in various people's homes and at no cost. I think that is something special about Phoenix, and we would like to continue it in some fashion. And thank you for all the hosts that provided that. And again, in the hosts, the most important host, again, are Jayanti ji, and Suren. Without them, Swamiji, the host Swamiji, without them it could not have happened. Then Gohils, Karandikars, of course John Thornton here, Shashi ji, Shiva and Srilata. And one thing I want to mention about, again, this is sort of a story, it's important to know. One family, which is, I say what that is, Gohils actually, is when I asked for them to be host, they were host last year. And this year, they basically, they just gave us the keys because they were going to India. Take our home, use it, and do what you need to do. What is there in the what? I think they practice, they follow other sadhanas. But the way that they came across, I was telling Seema, I don't think I would have done it, because just give my keys to somebody else and do whatever it is and just use my home. So, no. So, coming to, I think, because a lot of people are mentioning about Kishore and Seema, I think it's one thing that we are very dependent, both Seema and I. We can't take care of ourselves. So, what actually is, we did not host anyone. We were guests. Several hosts took care of us. And these hosts are Raji and Pandu, Mangaji, Surya and Subbarao Manta, Manika, Purna, Gayatri, Rajita, Prasanna, Bakul, Padma and Shailesh Iyer, Sumana and Anandrav. And these people, really, I'm not joking, I did not do any household chores for the last 4 weeks, completely spoiled. They took care of us as though we are complete guests. We are in a room and they basically say, what needs to be done, when needs to be done, what needs to happen. So this is their home and we are guests there. That's how they've taken care of the home. And that is actually a learning from Swamiji. When I say it is my house, all the problems start. So there is no my house, so it is just a house, and then it is other people's house and we are guests. I think that's what I think made it happen. Thank you very much for all the hosts. The only request is we are dependent, so you need to continue to come and continue to take care of us.
That would not have been possible without. I'm just saying this camp would not have been possible without help from Kishore and Seema. So we should be extremely grateful to them, and they'll make it happen again and again and again. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you, everyone. Again, it's basically our host took care of us. So, then again, besides not just these people, other people like Pungataji and Lataji and whoever comes to attend the program or whatever, they basically clean up and then do all the things and then help us with everything. Thank you, everyone. So not just the host. And coming to the other people, sorry again, maybe long list of thank yous. Please excuse me. We had a break for about 3 days. I again sincerely thank Pandu and John for engaging Swamiji and taking Swamiji and during the break. Now coming to this program, yes, we have program in 2 places, morning and evening. It's not like a normal ashram setting. So we need chauffeurs to take people from here and there. Who are the people that helped us? The Sehras and Jayanti, thank you, and Suren for bringing Swamiji in the morning. Again, without that, could not have happened. Then, of course, and the Pandu, of course, he actually one of the few people that, and besides Pandu and Hariprasad ji as well, they rented cars here. so that they could actually transport people around. Shiva Reddy also. So Pandu, Shiva Reddy, Hariprasad, and Pungatai, of course. She also rented a car so that she can actually transport people. And Arun Bansal, he was here briefly, and he also did the same thing. And John, of course, and Shashiji for moving the guests from their houses. And there's one, again, mentioning about Shiva Reddy. He actually gave us we could not use it, but a botanical garden pass as well for the guests to enjoy. Maybe we'll use it next year. So, and besides the chauffeuring or taking people around, or chauffeurs extraordinaire, there are also other people that actually helped in picking up and dropping off people, because we tried to make sure that as far as possible, unless they're coming during the class schedule or whatever, we pick up everyone and drop them off at the airport. For that, again, the Pandu and Shiva Reddy and Monica and Arun Sahraji and Jay and Arun Bansal, all of these people helped. Thank you. In addition to the classes from Swamiji, we also had yoga class at home. And that was conducted by none other than Monica here. Thank you. And for that, Shampa, again Sudhakar's wife, Shampa Sudhakar, she could not be here. So she provided the yoga mats. And Monica, Bakul, and Gayatri, and Pandu, and Raji, of course, they provided the yoga supplies as well. Thank you. Thank you for making that happen. And one of the most important things is, of course, food. And we are very, very grateful to our two caterers. We tried two this year, Satvik Swad in the morning, Jaisal and Utsav, very young couple, very energetic. And of course, our loving Shanai Sangha. And these, some of the out-of-town guests actually, the local guests were impressed with them. They actually wanted their phone numbers. So thanks to our caterers. One special mention about catering is, this is again, we didn't have this experience before from nowhere. One day I get an email from, I think, C. Avadhaniji, I think he's from Pennsylvania area, saying it is, I'm sending pickles for all the people to enjoy. So they actually made pickles at home and along with some sweets and shipped them from Pennsylvania to our home. And thanks to them. And thanks to all of you, all of the out-of-town guests for trusting us. And a lot of people were hesitant, oh, can these people take care of us and what's going to happen? And everybody has their own concerns about we're going and staying in somebody's home. And thank you again for trusting us. I mentioned a lot of people, but I did not mention one person, which is my better half. Or actually, I won't call it better half. And it's the only full. No, sir. She is the only full. She is the Purnavadi, I am the Shunyavadi. So, it's the only full. If I forgot anyone, for whatever reason, that is pure, it's not whatever reason, it is purely intentional. That is because they are not doers. But that does not mean that the others that I mentioned are doers. And Swamiji said, talk to Ishvara. Yes, I did talk to Ishvara. And Ishvara said, I don't want, remember I mentioned Ishvara is the doer in the beginning. And he said, I don't want that crown of thorns on my head. So I had to find somebody else to put that crown of thorns as doership. That is why he mentioned all of you for helping us. Another thing from Swamiji that is reinforced this year is basically, again, all of us said Seema and Kishore do everything, but we did not do. I can say Ishvara, but I think another thing that I learned, especially this year, from Swamiji in the ashram is, we have two good friends. They are Nathan and Lavaha. I'll expand what Nathan is. Nathan is NTHN, a very good friend, which is natural things happen naturally. And the second friend is Lavaha, which is Lawh, which is love all and work hard. So taking advantage, taking help of these two friends, Nathan and Lavaha, that's what happened. Everything happened. And finally, in closing, so sometimes people say, yeah, Kishore and Siva, I have got the program, the Phoenix program is great. But due to whatever reasons, or maybe because they're not too happy, they don't tell us directly, but they don't come the next year for whatever reason. But so my request to all of you is, don't be that way. Come back again and again and take care of us and take care of Phoenix. And we will make sure that we'll try to improve. If you have any mistakes, whatever, provide us the feedback and we will improve. And thank you everyone for all of you that came here. And the next year's program is already announced. Thanks to Swamiji for his generosity. From November 4th to December 1st, with 2 sessions with a 2.5 day break in between. The topics again will continue with Atma Bodha, and the second topic is Yaksha Prasna. So both will be, of course, in English. Thank you again very, very much for this opportunity. Now we will have Guru Dakshina, and for those online, you're still not bored with all these long speeches, you can make, if you have already made your Guru Dakshina, please do it. Otherwise, you can do it online. The information was shared. And please register your Guru Dakshina as well. That way, I don't have to enter it manually into Excel spreadsheets for tracking purposes. Thank you again very much. And we'll start with the Guru Dakshina. I come and take blessings from Swamiji. And thanks again.
So I will sit here. They can finish the cup of their chai.